On this episode of Road Trip Masters, we roll into a town that has one of the cleanest lakes in the world.
I gotta say, doing all these little experiments, I almost feel like a scientist.
Then head up 6,200 feet on the Cog Railway and see where some of the world's fiercest weather resides.
We'll cook up some chow, quarter up in a classic arcade museum,
And meet some of the local predators hanging around.
so sit back, relax, and let us do the driving right here on Road Trip Masters. I'm Nick Kessler.
And I'm Brian Fulmer,
We're teachers that have a passion for travel.
cruising the highways and byways in our 1968 drop-top caddy.
We discover the places and people that make this nation great. We are Road Trip Masters. This week we're traveling north to the beautiful New England town of Bristol, New Hampshire. Incorporated in 1819, Bristol was named after the Bristol sand used in England to make fine china and pottery. This town was also the center of manufacturing back in the day and known for its superior quality of brick, aptly named Bristol Brick. Before Brian and I hit these beautiful New Hampshire hills, it was time to bunk up at Pleasant View B&B, where Heidi knew how to make you feel right at home. All right, Heidi, here we are. Pleasant View Farm, I'm going to call it, but you call it something else.
I call it Pleasant View Bed and Breakfast.
Now, tell me about the inn. You walk in there, true farmhouse. I'm going to go back to that. What was your inspiration?
I wanted to keep it farmhouse. I wanted to keep it comfortable. I wanted to keep it relaxing. If you want to go back a little farther, I have it traced back to 1832. Used to be one of the 7 largest farms in the state of New Hampshire. The land stretched down to the lake, which is a mile and a half away.
Wow.
We wanted to maintain the integrity of the place.
Well, I think one thing, a testament to this place, the low ceilings, and it's a theme throughout, correct?
Except for one area, but yes, the low ceiling, which is nice because I'm so short up, but I can actually touch the ceiling.
But it gives you like you're stepping back in
Right,
time.
stepping back in time, right. I swear I'm stuck in old ages. I feel like I should have been born 100 years ago.
Like an old soul, they call it.
Well, yeah, but my mom will tell you different, that I'm not an old soul because I like to move around a lot. When I walked into the place, it felt like home to me. It felt it was for me. It was my place to be there. You know, you have that vision, and this is what I want it to look like. We just started from there, worked our way inside, and redid everything top to bottom, maintained the integrity. The beams in the dining room are original to the inn, and at one point that was a barn where the dining room is right now.
So you take the farmhouse,
Right.
and that was the barn that you connected together, and you preserved all that.
Lucky for us, it was already preserved. It was there. That's the first thing you notice, are those huge beams that are in there. And that's one solid beam running across there.
Heidi, we're looking forward to checking in here. It's a beautiful example of a classic historic New Hampshire farm, and I can't wait to have that drink on the front porch with you.
And I'm looking forward to having you back, and I'll even buy you that first drink on the house.
All right. After settling into Heidi's New Hampshire hideaway, Brian and I headed back to the caddy in search of our first Bristol meal. Built in 1788 by Benjamin Emmons, the Homestead Restaurant and Tavern is said to be the oldest house standing in the town of Bristol. The Homestead is known for fantastic food, great conversation, and the place to be for an excellent evening out. That's where Brian caught up with Chef to see what's cooking in the kitchen.
We're back in the kitchen with Chef Adam. Chef, what do you have for us today?
We've actually got some fresh seafood, and I'm going to make a shrimp and scallop risotto, one of my favorite dishes.
All right, let's hop right into it.
You got it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this olive oil in here and get our pan rolling. Crank that right up there. Beautiful.
Now, Chef, before we go any further, I have to say, I love this tray, royalty.
Only the best for me. So I've got some delicious scallops right here, day boat, so they just came in. Then I'm going to add some shrimp right behind it. Boy, that pan sounds good. So if you cook things at too slow of a temperature, what ends up happening is you're bleeding all the juices out of it. I want to get a nice sear on that right away, so that's why you got to get that pan nice and hot. All right, and I think about now we're going to go ahead and add our shrimp.
Now, Chef,
Fresh shrimp?
Oh yeah, only the best. We get daily shipments of seafood that come into this restaurant. Right now I can go ahead and add my tomatoes. Now these are roasted tomatoes. And here's my garlic. And I want to be careful when I add the garlic. So once I start to see things getting a little translucent in there, we really, really want to get our garlic right in there so we can get those aromatics going.
I gotta watch here, Chef. My hair gel may catch on fire.
I'll be careful of you, don't worry. All right, so next thing we want to get in there is we have just a little bit of chicken stock. And as you can see here, we've got our risotto. And I made this nice base for you today. Everything is about timing as you're doing food and creating a nice marriage in everything that you might have. So you've got all those little concentrated flavors that are at the bottom, and once you hit it with the chicken stock and now a little bit of cream, all those concentrated flavors get back into the food. All right, and right now, we want to go ahead and put a little bit of Parmesan cheese in there. Say a little, but come on, really. Have you ever heard somebody say just a little cheese?
No.
And then we've got some shaved Parmesan cheese here as well. And right now I want to go ahead and add our spinach. Now there's a reason I didn't really add it earlier, because it cooks super, super fast, and I don't want to kill off any vitamins and minerals that we may have in there. So this dish, I guess a lot of us eat with our eyes. I know I do. So for this in particular dish, you've got just about every color in the rainbow that you could possibly want in there.
Nice thing about eating with your eyes, Chef, no calories.
All right, so this is coming together nicely, and we've got all of our flavors, all of our ingredients in here, and I think we're ready to plate it. Now, one of the biggest steps in this is being able to garnish it properly. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. And as you can see, this comes together really, really nicely. It's not really a soup or stew. It's a great dish that incorporates just about everything you could ever want in there. So this is a balsamic vinegar that's reduced down, and I'm just going to drizzle right over the top here. And there you are.
It was a bold fact that Chef Adam knew what he was doing in the kitchen. Along with great food and a historic atmosphere, the drinks at the bar were above and beyond as well. With a piping hot dish and a delicious Mai Tai, it was certain that the Homestead, well, was a home run. New Hampshire is full of surprises, plastered in beauty and water. One of the largest marvels around these woods is Mount Washington, a 6,000-foot monster. And running through it, the Cog Railway, ascending straight to the top. Ryan and I just had to see this for ourselves. But first, we started off meeting Caleb in the locomotive repair shop. Here we are, Brian, the brains of the operation, the Cog Repair Shop, I'm going to call it. Caleb, am I accurate in that?
That is completely accurate. All the behind-the-scenes work goes on here.
I'm looking around. I just don't have the cognitive ability to rationalize all the different things you guys have going on here. Can you walk us through some of it?
Well, honestly, it's a lot simpler than it would seem. I mean, there's a lot that goes on here in terms of repairs and current projects that we're involved in, but for example, these steam engines that are behind us right here, that's the same technology that's been around for about 200 years since their inception. The only thing is we put modern technologies in there to make them more efficient, more durable, robust, and it works out for us.
If you look at it, in essence, you could build one of these Cog locomotives, I'm going to call it, from scratch, correct?
As a matter of fact, all 7 of our biodiesel locomotives were built right here in this shop. The width of them was dictated by the doors that we had to go through to get them out.
Caleb and his crew certainly knew how to keep these cogs on track, building parts from scratch, day in and day out, so visitors can constantly enjoy what Mount Washington has to offer. Speaking of Mount Washington, it was time to meet up with Ryan to see what these locomotives go through on a daily basis. Brian, here we are, Mount Washington, ready to make the ascent to the summit, and we got Ryan. Ryan, what can you tell us about the mountain right behind us?
So, the Cog Railway started in 1866. It was a vision of Sylvester Marsh to build the railway. And he actually approached New Hampshire legislature and applied for a charter to build a railway to the summit of the mountain. And they joked with him and just told him, why don't you go ahead and build a railway to the moon? It was just a big joke back then because they thought it was not possible to happen. It took 3 years. It was finished by 1869. And right now we have 2 steam locomotives and 7 diesel locomotives that we've built, designed and built right here in-house.
How does it actually work? Because I can't imagine just the normal track system to be able to go up this type of elevation.
Sure, and it wouldn't. So when you've got that normal friction type of wheel that you have on a regular railroad system, it would just spin on these tracks just due to the grade. So with ours, we actually have what you would picture as a bicycle chain and a sprocket. And that sprocket, though, is going to be located on the locomotive itself, and the chain is what runs up the side of the mountain.
Now, I think, like, safety-wise, if you look at Mount Washington, I heard it's killed half as many people as Mount Everest. So you take Everest, around 30-some thousand feet, and you take Mount Washington, 6,200, like you said, 88, I believe.
Yep. So people will come here thinking it's an easy mountain, it's short, they're just hiking up a few thousand feet. It's not going to be a big deal. They get up there, they get lost in dense fog, the temperature drops very rapidly, the winds pick up, and it's just exposure to the elements, and they end up perishing.
Ryan wasn't kidding. Mount Washington's kind face couldn't hide its true nature at its peak. The Cog Railway's fine-tuned system was certainly the best bet for getting to the top. With unbelievable views, steep slopes, and a chill down to the bone on a summer's day, the Cog Railway was one for the books. So it's back to the road, and this time we're checking out a true American hangout. The Fun Spot is the largest arcade in the world and home to the American Classic Arcade Museum. This is where Brian and I caught up with Gary, the main man keeping these classic machines alive, allowing visitors a slice of history, 1 quarter at a time. All right, Gary, here we are. True Blue Americana at the Fun Spot. What year did it all start?
Fun Spot started in 1952. Bob Lawton started the company down on the beach and had a small indoor miniature golf and some electromechanical games. And in 1964, purchased property up here where we are now and has been here ever since.
I'd like to say you have the Hall of Fame of games. What is the maintenance that is required for some of these old classics?
I always say to people, when you go and rent a car from any of the major car companies, they hand you keys to a new car and not keys to an 82 Chevette. And there's a reason why. They know new things will run and old things won't.
We're back here in the repair shop. I'm in heaven being a shop teacher, but this is where it really goes down right here. All the restoration, all the care and love to preserving these classic arcade games. Tell us about it.
Well, we get a lot of our games donated to the museum. Others we buy if it's something we're looking for. What we try to do is get the game back up and running, preserve it, as opposed to completely rebuilding it with everything new.
Gary, I think we take a step back in time, out of the repair shop, and go back to my days in the mall when we would have rolls of quarters to play.
Let's go.
All right. All right, Brian, here we are. I'm gonna call it Arcade Row. We have traveled back in time, my friend.
Gary, how many of these old classics do you have?
There's 270 in this room right now, 250 more in storage.
What's the rarest game you have here on the floor?
Might be our computer space. There's not many of those. That was the first coin-operated video game that arcade operators could buy, 1971.
Wow.
Let me ask you this one. What's the most profitable game you think you have here on the floor?
None of them. And I say that with 100% conviction.
And that right there is why we love Gary. Gary has been at the Fun Spot for quite some time, fixing up these classic gems and making sure the community has a chance to enjoy them. The Fun Spot was the place to be in New Hampshire, so bring your change and buckle up, because this place is one wild ride. Are you kidding me?
Take 93.
After spending hours inside, Ryan and I eventually ran out of quarters, so it was back to the outdoors. Across the way, Newfound Lake awaited, where we heard it just happened to be one of the cleanest lakes in the world. We met up with Andrew, who was willing to put that information to the test. All right, Brian, first stop in our scientific exploration of Newfound Lake. Andrew, what do we got?
What we have right now is the device we use for measuring our clarity in the lake. This is called a Secchi disc. These are called aquascopes. And this is pretty standard across the scientific community. This is what everybody seems to use for clarity. That gives us a little bit more comparability across lakes. We lower this into the water and we measure when we lose sight of it.
All right, Brian, get her done.
Okay. You probably want to just wait until you can't see it with your eyes, and then you can start using the aquascope.
Aquascope.
And mind you, we're at about 15 feet right now, and I can still see it with my bare eyes.
And I can see it clear as day. Still have visibility. Now it's getting cloudy. Down to just a white.
That'll be the last thing you see.
And then done.
All right.
Through the aquascope, Brian was able to see the Secchi disc at about 31 feet below. After a quick trade, I stepped up to the plate, getting the exact same reading as Brian. This test is crucial to Newfound Lake. If clarity seems off, further testing is held, which gives researchers the ability to see what's happening within the ecosystem. Andrew and his team run multiple tests. Another one involves catching plankton, a much-needed food source to many living species within Newfound Lake. Okay, Andrew, this is our plankton equipment.
This is called a plankton net. Basically what it does is it allows water to pass through, but it does not allow plankton to come through. So we lower into the water, pull it up, check out what we caught.
Let's see how you did, fisherman.
Okay.
That's teamwork right there.
This is called a discovery scope, but we call this a plankton viewing scope.
And it's just a plastic box that you put the water in, right?
Exactly.
With a magnifying glass.
Yeah, and most plankton you can see with your bare eye, but this just gives you a little bit more of magnification so that you can see them up close.
Yeah, there it is. My God, you see the little critter.
I really wish I would have brought my readers.
I don't see anything.
You got the thing pressed against the box.
You gotta move around a little bit, yeah.
It goes left to right, Brian.
I just don't see it.
Plankton or no plankton, it was a true honor to cruise along Newfound Lake to see what Andrew and his team do on a daily basis to protect the environment and all the species that live within it. These crystal clear waters were absolutely breathtaking. So much so that the crew and I felt obligated to take a dip. It was finally time for the last stop in our New Hampshire expedition. Brian and I thought it would be best to go out with a bang. So we head over to the Squam Lake Science Center to meet some residents of a different kind. All right, Brian, here we are, Squam Lake's Natural Science Center. And we got Jeremy, and we're kicking this thing off right with an owl. Jeremy, what type of owl do we have?
This is a great horned owl.
Is Brian in danger being so close?
Brian's not in danger with this great horned owl. You wouldn't want to be this close in the wild.
Oh, thanks. Jeremy, I'm looking at those talons. They truly look like killing machines. Am I right with that, or?
I'd say it depends on who you are. If you're a mouse or a vole in the forest, absolutely. This is the largest owl that we have here in New Hampshire. They have immense power, 500 pounds per square inch, where you or I are going to be more like 20, 25 pounds per square inch.
Brian, take a square inch and just put 500 pounds of pressure down on that.
No.
You look at the eyes, you see it from the side like a big bubble. Anything else about them? Their vision at night, how do they see?
Yeah, their vision at night is amazing. They have way more rods in their eyes than you or I do. So if we had eyes as big as this owl, they'd be as big as softballs.
Brian, you look great like that.
Thanks.
I know they have more animals than just our buddy the owl. You ready to go see some more?
I'm ready. Jeremy, we're at the mountain lion exhibit. How common are mountain lions in New Hampshire?
They're super rare. In fact, the eastern mountain lion was deemed extinct several years ago. So any mountain lion sightings that do occur are just rare occurrences that are mountain lions that come from the west.
So where did you get these guys?
Our mountain lions came from Montana.
What is the life expectancy of a mountain lion?
Mountain lions in the wild can live to be, 10, maybe up to 15 on occasion.
Jeremy, you're looking at these things, they're massive. You see the jaw force. It's almost like they can drag like a full-grown deer.
Absolutely, yeah. So white-tailed deer, elk, moose, they could take down the largest ungulates that we have in North America.
Brian, why don't you get in there, run around and see what happens?
Pass.
Squam Lake's nature facility was truly in a league of its own, filled with a ton of diverse animals and a staff that has knowledge and compassion for each one of them. New Hampshire has been a special adventure, a destination everyone should mark on their maps. This place has everything one can need, from the beautiful outdoors to the kind smiles of the natives who make this state so special. So buckle up, grab the wheel, and get lost in an area worth discovering. Until next time, I'm Nick Kessler.
And I'm Brian Fulmer. Stay curious, my friends.
Safe travels.